I can stay relatively calm during working conflicts. And it used to be very hard for me actually. I'm a person who does not naturally tolerate conflicts very well. When it's just some passive-aggressive stuff, I'm usually good. But if conflicts get real, I used to get very uncomfortable and really nervous pretty fast. So, throughout many years of working, I've learned how to deal with working conflicts and stay calm when I need it the most. Let's go! Step 1. Manage the stress. Conflict situation is a stressful situation. And the fact that we experience it at work makes it even harder because there are so many rules at work that we need to comply. We have to act a certain way and control ourselves. Without going into neuroscience details, when we experience stress, we usually show 3 kinds of reaction. First one, when I'm stressed, I need to do something physical. I can feel how my blood pressure rising and my pulse increasing. If I could, I would rather shout what I have on my mind, which of course I don't do because we're at work and I suppress it. Reaction number 2. When I'm stressed, I need to talk to other people. Only when I have a chance to share what bothers me with people I trust allows me to breathe again. If there is no one there who would listen to me, I feel much worse. Number 3. When I'm stressed, I need to be left in peace. I need to discuss the problem with myself. Think it through before I share anything with anyone else. I can, of course, talk to people when I'm stressed, but it's better if I don't have to. I hope you were able to recognize yourself in one of these reactions. And by the way, none of them are good or bad. All of them are natural. Many of us are actually having a mix of 2. All variations of that are normal. And I believe that this thing that I've just explained you is extremely important for us to know about ourselves. Because knowing how you naturally respond to stress will help you to predict how you will react in a working conflict. If you're the first type, it means that you release your stress through action. It should not always be something physical, but for example, raising your voice. This is what you will try to naturally do if you're stressed, and especially in a working setting, it can come across as rude. Or you can say things that you may regret afterwards, so just be mindful of that, your natural reaction. If you're in a conflict, stressful situation, and of course, if you have a chance to mitigate it, allow yourself to at least walk, because sitting in one place would only make it worse for you. I understand that this may not be always an option, but just as an example, I know people who invite another person who they have conflict with to take a small walk and talk everything through during the walk. If you're a second type, it means that you release your stress through communication, and it can lead to you being too talkative when you're under stress. Because it's a natural reaction, you can talk and talk and talk until stress lets you go. And the other person won't even be able to track your thought process. Be mindful about how much are you talking when you're under stress. Again, if you have a chance, take a pause to talk to someone you trust to release your stress. If you're third type, it means that you process stress through reflection. I don't know about you, but all my life I have been hearing that it's not okay to keep what is bothering you to yourself, and it's better to always share it. But surprise, for some people it's actually the best way to deal with stress. And you can mitigate this stress through creating a distance. If you can, basically win yourself some time to process what is happening. And in all these 3 cases, if you found yourself in a stressful conflict situation, the first step is always to take a deep breath. Now, when we understand how we naturally react to stress and took a deep breath, we need to do something about the conflict that we're in. So, step 2, think about the reasons why this conflict happened. What's the reason behind it? What each part of the conflict hopes to gain from it? For example, you might have different opinions on a certain topic. Sometimes, if another person feels particularly strongly about something, a discussion can turn into a conflict. If that happens, we need to return the discussion to a calm, rational state. And sometimes it's not always possible to do straight away. Sometimes when the degree of conversation got too high really quickly, you have to park this topic to find a chance to discuss it later. It will give both yourself and your counterparts some time to chill. Another surprisingly popular reason why working conflicts are happening is a simple miscommunication. miscommunication. Trust me, it happens more often than you think. Someone misunderstood someone and it triggered the confrontation. Then the solution would be to clarify the miscommunication instead of trying to prove your point. Also, there may be unobvious or even irrational reasons for a conflict. For example, personal dislike. Also, the reality is not all the people are plain fair, and sometimes they can use a conflict to manipulate you or push you to do something you don't want to. That's a separate case, and here I believe that we have to understand our personal interests and keep it in our primary focus. Now, if you figured out what is the reason for a conflict, the next step would be to find the common ground with the person. Even if you disagree on certain points, try to find things that you agree on and build up from there. I'm telling you, magic happens if you manage to agree that at some level you actually want the same thing. It instantly makes the topic of your conflict less significant. And step 4, stay focused and be respectful. The core of your conversation should be the problem you discuss. Do not allow your emotions or side things to take over. Otherwise, it can escalate very quickly. Listen actively and be respectful. Even if you disagree with certain points, try to show that you're at least willing to listen the other person. Try to show that you're at least trying to understand their perspective. This is always a necessary step to resolving a conflict. And step 5, my favorite. Remember that some conflicts are simply unavoidable and we have to live through it. It's absolutely okay if people have different opinions, and sometimes certain percentage of working conflicts is just a part of the process. I would even say that in a team dynamics, if you avoid conflicts by any means, sometimes you can push back the things that actually deserve to be discussed, even if there is a chance that it will be an emotionally charged discussion. Just try to work through these conflicts as calmly and constructively as you can. I personally wish you to be strong and calm in any conflict you can find yourself in. I will see you in my next video.